Hello and welcome to a new video on this channel. I'm the Prussian War General, and today we're playing Doodle Empires. This is a game that came out a little while ago. I think it's like a couple of months ago. I bought it pretty early on because I saw a YouTuber playing it and it looked pretty fun. But I never came around to making a video on my main channel about it. So I decided I'm gonna make a video on this channel about it. So if you somehow don't know what Doodle Empires is, you essentially just draw countries, you draw history, and yeah, there's a lot of maps as you can see. I actually want the world map. Is there a world map? Did I not up? No, Earth. I'm just an idiot. Yeah, here we have Earth. You probably can't see all of it because you can only see the top part of my screen because my recording window is fucked and I don't know how to fix it. Anyways, we're gonna reshape the entirety of history. Here we are on the beautiful, beautiful world map. I'm gonna press F11 now, by the way, so that we're... Wait, what? Why can't I get into full screen mode? Am I dumb? How do I get into full screen mode? What? Am I stupid? Why can I not get into full screen mode? Am I dumb? What? Why can't I get into full screen mode? Okay, we gotta work with that for now. I specifically want to start in the Middle East. There's two big civilizations we could make first. We could start with Babylon. I think Babylon was like somewhere around here. Or we could start with Egypt. Or we could just make some tribes. But I feel like that will take too long. Because I want to get to actually rewriting history. So I think we're going to start either with Egypt or Babylon. I think we're going to start with Babylon. We're gonna make Babylon red, not red, we're gonna make it dark red. There we go. Here we've got the civilization of Babylon that are gonna like probably want most of the available coastline. Wow, those are some big expanse. And they'll probably follow the rivers, stay out of the mountains because that's just how humans work. We don't really like mountains. Well, most of us. And then we'll just slightly thicken it out. There we go. Obviously, we gotta select them because they're the only existing nation. And new nation, alright. So, Egypt. This is actually already a pretty good color. We're gonna take it. Egypt! Wonderful. Egypt's obviously gonna start right here. We're gonna follow down this river. They're gonna... Oh! Oh, shit. I am so dumb. What the fuck? Oh, that's some true Borgor. Okay, we gotta fill that out. Let's say they're gonna make like a city or something here. I don't know. And then they're gonna follow the Nile, obviously. They're also gonna go this way, but they're mostly gonna stay out of the actual mountains, and they'll follow the Nile further. Why is the expansion so far? Holy shit. And they're gonna close this down, and they decide, okay, the Sinai, obviously, we still want to be close to the ocean, so they take over Sinai, and, they connect the territory between the Sinai and there, and they connect that, and they clean up their borders slightly. Why do I have so much drawing power? Why is there so much... Excuse me, what game settings? How much draw power? I have it on normal, okay, whatever. So yeah, now we gotta choose. Obviously, Egypt just got their turn, so we're gonna go to Babylon. What? The color is the color of Egypt. Is it bugged? Yeah, it's just bugged. Okay, it's just bugged. So the Babylonians they're actually gonna go ahead and control the strait here. They're still gonna remain like out of the mountains mostly, but they are gonna move a little more in there. And I feel like we gotta slowly have them move towards Turkey so that maybe we can do that eventually. Egypt, new nation. Okay, I mean, Japan is a very old nation as well, so we might want to do Japan. Yeah, let's just do Japan. Let's start out in Japan, probably like here. I think they're gonna get their entire island in this turn, so I'll just... Yeah, they're getting their entire island. They're probably getting far more. That's one thing I like and hate about the world map. Expansion just goes very fast. Like, as you can see, the Japanese... I'm actually going to end their turn because obviously they start out here. I don't want every nation to just have like full control. We have three nations here now. Since Egypt got their turn skipped, I'll now take Egypt again, and Egypt splits. What does Egypt split into? Isn't Sudan down here? I guess Sudan? It's just the people of Sudan who have been oppressed. What will Babylon do? Babylon does a union. What? Okay, I don't know how this makes sense. Okay, hear me out. The Egyptians and the Babylonians, right? This already starts out great. Okay, we're gonna give the newly formed Kingdom of the Middle East a turn. Age of the... Oh no, please don't tell me. What? They're doing another union. Okay, Sudan has joined the fucking thing here. This is bullshit. Okay, Japan splits. Yeah, of course. Japan splits. What can I split Japan into? I don't know the names of all the fucking islands. What are the islands called of Japan? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna make the shogunates of Japan, I guess. They're gonna exist as like a separate nation. They're also Japanese, but they're like, oh, we don't like your stupid government. So yeah, we're gonna do our own thing, and they rise up in this island because it's more disconnected. They just rise up in the further away part of Japan. And also in this island because it's not properly connected to the mainland. So yeah. And also this island. So now the Japanese also have a civil war. And I guess... Yeah, no, I'm not gonna give them anything else. So what's the shogunate gonna do? They're gonna split! The, communist shogunate. I don't know. Okay, we already have communism in fucking turn 4. That's great. Okay, I think... No, I know I didn't do this. What are the communists gonna do? They split! I hate... Okay, I'm gonna turn off Aegis. Okay, they get a small expand. They start working on, actually connecting their territory. You know, because obviously that's, what they'd want to do. I don't want to return to Japan. I'll just give them another turn, I guess. They unite with them. Can I just make them unite with themselves? Wonderful. Okay, let's skip those fucking union shits. I don't care about that anymore. Another union. They again unite with themselves. They really love uniting themselves. Okay, a large expand. Yeah. So the Egyptian part of the empire decides to also like expand, and then they make it their mission to take over the canal, right? They make it their mission to take over this entire part. I don't know what it's called. I forgot. But also, they keep working on actually connecting their territory. This is going to be a very weird video. So far, it's already making no sense at all. Wonderful. Then they also buff out their borders slightly here. And now we're going to return to Japan, very sadly, I hope. Okay. Maybe Japan will beat all of them back. New nation. I don't want to do China. Asia's scary. What? No. What are we gonna make? I think we're just gonna make Rome. And Rome's just gonna be the reddest red possible. So let's go to Europe. Our first European nation has been created. In the Italian peninsula, Rome is formed, and they're a quickly growing empire. They are already colonizing stuff. Like, as you can see, Rome is just growing so quickly. They have already taken over the entire Italian peninsula, and they take over Corsica and Sicily, and a part of Tunisia, and then they kind of see the Alps as a roadblock for now. They can't quite get through the Alps. They're being contained by the Alps. They're trying to take everything not that mountainous, obviously. The mountains, they are kind of like holding them back, but they do manage to start their colonization down here in Africa. And that's where they stop for now, because I don't want to have Rome be overpowered. My cat just snuck behind my TV again. Actually, I want to give Rome another turn, because, yep, obviously they split, and we can now make Carthage. I wrote that wrong. Carthage. Wonderful. What color is Carthage gonna be, you might ask? Carthage gonna be pink. Kingdom of whatever continues on, and of course they get another expand. I feel like these guys are gonna be like winning a lot. They decide to close down inside of here, and then they just continue slowly getting more control over this part of the ocean. Okay, Japan. Large expand, yes. The Japanese, they have had enough of all their splits, right? Because it's stupid, they hate the Civil War, so they kick them out of there. They take back the islands in the west, and then they go north, northeast, and they take down all the revolts. They take down all the revolts. They've been successful at doing so. So now, as they finally united their peninsula, they decide, okay, maybe it's time for us to expand. So they take this island that I've forgotten the name of, and they're like, okay, so we have like an island, but there's land like very close. So they get closer, and they land in Korea. They take all of Korea, actually, north and south, and they establish their first little colony here, which is very closely integrated into their actual country. So they essentially create like a fake strait between this, and they want to control it. They want to use it to control this part of Asia. And now this exists. And oh my god, I gotta stop my cat. Carthage, our new nation. Okay. Do we go to? No, I don't really want to go there. What nation should we make? I think we should make the Germanic tribes. Here in the north, they live, the Germanic tribes. They just exist up here. They're still separated from the Romans by everything. And they exist in parts of Germany and Poland. And what will they do as their first action? They split into Poland! Poland exists now. Ladies and gentlemen, Poland ball has joined the game. Will they dominate, or will they once again be bullied like in every history? Okay, so here we have Poland. I feel like the Polish... Oh my god, I ruined the borders completely. Okay, what will Poland do? What's Poland gonna do? They expand into actual Poland. That's beautiful to see. Look at this, and they take over parts of the Baltic. And wonderful, now we have Poland. Large expand. Nope, another new nation. Okay, Gaul. We're gonna make the Gallic tribes as well. And they're gonna be green. No, they're gonna be blue. They're gonna be blue tribes. Here, and they obviously rise up in what today is France. That color is way too similar to the ocean, and that's gonna be like invisible. And a little bit of Spain, but mostly modern-day France. That should work for now. Yeah, there we go. That's that's way better. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna fucking do? Okay, I think new nation was set way too high. I might turn that down now. Fuck it. Let's make fucking Denmark. So they are here. They come from the Germanic people. Obviously, they come from there. And they carve out their little Viking empire. They go on to go to Britain because the British, they're currently just dumb. They're not even tribes. They're barely human, and yeah. So Denmark just colonizes a lot of this. They do not go there yet. They are not ready to go that far, but they will go a little bit into actual Europe, and then they go there. Large expand, yeah, so the Romans, they finally decide to push up into the Alps, and they slowly meet all the fucking tribes of Europe. And they expand further into the Balkan, and they actually take over Tunisia before Carthage can. But they don't take over Carthage yet, because they don't think they're much of an issue, and they do also take over Greece entirely. For what, getting revenge for something that has not even happened yet. This nation still is way too powerful. I just want them to split. Finally! Finally, okay. Egypt is back. Guys, Egypt has finally returned. Like, the Babylonian people, they're like, okay, yeah, you guys can have your independence, but we keep half the Sinai. So, that's what they do, and they firstly focus on getting back the Nile, obviously, and I might have to give them a little more. It's fine. So the Egyptians, they also decide to go a little more west, so maybe very soon we'll get some interaction between the Romans and the Carthaginians and the Egyptians. Okay, so now we rename this again to Babylon. Close down our peninsula a little. So yeah, that's what they fucking do. That's just what that's what they do. Oh my god, that's border war. Anyways, until Carthage finally gets to expand. Finally, Carthage actually does something. And it's, out of all things, a small expanse, so they don't like the Romans already. And they take over Tunisia. They take Tunisia from the Romans. And almost push them out of this part of Africa. I'm gonna give them another turn, because they've been bullied this whole time. They finally push out Rome, and they take over the Balearic Islands. Sardinia. And, wait, no, that's not Sardinia, that's Sicily. That's Sardinia, right? No, am I stupid? This is Sardinia, this is Sicily, this is Corsica. Yeah. We're gonna go to the Germanic tribes, and they're gonna found another fucking new nation. Are you kidding me? You know what? We're gonna have the Germanic nation form the Kingdom of Germany. All these guys, they're like, okay, guys, we're finally sophisticated enough, so we're gonna make our own kingdom. So the Kingdom of Germany takes over. They don't take over. They just become smarter, and they're like, okay, we need to secure our position. So they're like, give me the smaller brush. This already is the smaller brush. This is really hard to draw. So they like secure their position right here in the middle of Europe and most of the not yet taken over territory. And they also don't like Denmark, so they push them out a little. And those guys, they're not France yet. They're still like dumb people. They're still like stupid. Let's return to, let's go back to Asia, actually. What does Japan do? They split again. I mean, at least this time we can do something that makes sense. We're gonna make like Korea. Here we go. It's only a small split, so it's only gonna be the Korean Peninsula. Specifically, these people, they just don't like the Japanese. They're like, you guys suck, so they split off and do something. I don't know. I need to do this like live on stream, and you guys give me suggestions. Yeah, there we go. Now we have Korea, and they take they take these islands, and yeah, that's what they do. Now Korea exists. What will Korea do? They expand. They're like, okay, we'll leave the Japanese alone. They probably already hate us. We're just gonna go ahead and colonize this little part of China, and we're gonna carve out our own little empire here. Wonderful, and they just go ahead and expand upon the Chinese not front line, the Chinese coast, and they push very deep in along the rivers. And they try to connect it, but they fail. Okay. This, yeah, new leader or whatever. Oh my god, wait, what? Huh? I'm very confused on what the fuck just happened, but okay. England finally shows up in the form of Wessex. Fuck, what do I do? Okay, we're gonna say the Hungarians exist. We're gonna say the people from the Uralic Mountains, they have already come here. Because if you don't know, Hungarian is actually what's it called, a Ural language. So here we've got Austria. Here we have actually the Kingdom of Hungary, and they're way bigger actually, and way more important. They push it into Rome because they think Rome sucks, and they have this part of Transylvania, and they have Transylvania. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. Now, this is very big and very scary. This is still the biggest these are still the two biggest. Oh my god. No! So, this never happened, actually. This is retcon. Oh, the Egyptians, they're tired of the fucking Babylonians, the first people on Earth, being so powerful because they think they're smug. Because they're so smug, they think they're better, so they take over this part of the strait, and now they control the Suez Canal. Large expand. They hate the Hungarians, so they push up to this river, and then what they do, they also take back this island, and they go for Carthage, and they take over the Balearics, and they're like, no, fuck you, Carthage. I don't know what to fucking say, bro. Yeah, and how does Carthage react to that? They found a religion. What religion was the Carthaginian? They create, I guess, Cartago is what they were called, I think. In German, we call it Carthage Cartago, so I'll just call the religion that. Yeah, so what did they actually do? No, they split. They split into the... okay, so the Romans, they have broken the spirit of a lot of people. So this is Roman Libya. And this is a puppet state of the Romans. This is a puppet. This is a puppet, and they take over most of this. Now, what does Roman Libya do? They fucking destroy the shit out of Carthage, and they expand further into actual Libya. Carthage is gone now. There's just Libya now. And the Libyans, they're really not big fans of this. For now, they stick with Rome because they know that this will bring them a lot of advantages and make them very powerful, but they do not plan on staying part of Rome. Now, the Polish, they give independence to Lithuania. Lithuania, they just get to exist. There we go. Now we have a very ugly Lithuania. Or Germany. Germany. They do a union. So the Germans and the people of the Gauls, the Gallic people, they like look at each other and they look at Rome and they see, oh fuck, Rome is scary, okay? Because Rome is a genuine threat. They just took out Carthage, which in this world wasn't actually very useful. And then they attacked Hungarians, and probably Rome's gonna come after them eventually as well. So they realize, okay, we're kind of fucked. We gotta unite. And together, they create, not the Kingdom of Germany. This is the first, what was it called? You know what, no, we're just gonna leave it the Kingdom of Germany for now. So, because the Gallic people, they're not French yet. They were just kind of barbarians, and the Germans, they now helped them to become sophisticated. So all of these people, they're German now. Here. Sudan, they're like fucking tired as well of all this bullshit. The people of Sudan, they're just like, you know, we didn't really have a problem with you guys, but we don't want to be part of your war. We're just gonna take everything until like your core territory, so like this. And then the people of Sudan, they're gonna focus on their own expand. No, I retcon that. Fucking game, you're messing up my narrative. Yeah, they don't want to be part of them, so they just annex it, I guess. Hungary, they've been attacked. What do? They expand. They push back the Romans to the river, and they try to break through. And then what they do is they just send like one army. They just send a tiny little army to go towards the actual city of Rome, and they essentially just surround the entire capital. What did I say like that? They surround the capital. Those are the ugliest borders I've ever seen. And they also, they cut off the main army right here. They cut off the army right there. That's what they do. No, that's all Hungary does. Austria does a medium expand. They're tired of being boxed in from all sides. They're fine with the Germans because their cultures are like similar, but they don't like the Hungarians. They're like, no, fuck you. You're boxing us in. So they invade Hungary, and then they invade Rome. They see that the Austrians are expanding. They have become a major power, so they actually decide, okay, for now we'll put away our differences with Hungary, and they unite, because Austria's their mortal enemy now, because they tried to take out both of them for no reason. Okay, Denmark. What the fuck did I just do? The Germans are actually nice, and they give them the Iberian Peninsula, but these guys, they're still allied. They're still very closely aligned. So Spain and the Germans, they get along. There's also no French people in this world. There's just Germans. So the German people, they have technically been weakened, but also kind of gotten more powerful because now they have an ally. And Lithuania, they expand. They're like, okay, Poland, thanks for giving us independence. We're gonna take over all of our little neighbor people here. They want to take all of it. All of it. So they take over all of the coastline. They take over, like, this major part of Finland. And Lithuania is looking kind of powerful. And Lithuania, they're no longer Lithuania. They have become something far greater. And they rename themselves to the Teutonic Order. Korea, finally. And Korea splits into China. Makes sense, I guess, in the context of this world at least. But I'm making China, so China is actually very small. China, they also came from Japan, and China splits into the fucking... China splits, of course they split. Crashed, yeah, it's probably really annoyed you. The recording windows probably, like, piss you off this entire recording. I'm gonna change it to this now. Although that means you can't really see what's going on the right of my screen, but whatever. Nobody cares, we're just here for stuff, and they need a different color, so I'm gonna make them blue. So what does the Wu dynasty do? They fucking split. Are you shitting me? The the Qin dynasty. Of course, there's another fucking Chinese dynasty that exists here, and what do these guys do? They split. And then there's... Let's give China the turn again. They split again, no! Into the fuck yourself hard in the ass dynasty. Bring me new leaders. Finally. China takes out this dynasty because they're pissed. They're like very pissed by these guys. They're pissed by all these fucking people just thinking they can come out of nowhere, so they kill them all.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
I have to do a video where I make all of these events and little wars, but as country wall animations. I feel like that would be sick. Rome finally does something. They expand. They hate the Austrians for what they've done, so they cut them off from the ocean. They take back the territory they took from Hungary, and they essentially just box them in like this, becoming an even bigger threat to the Germans and to the Poles, who are all shitting their asses now. They're actually already invading the Germans and the Poles. And now they also expand into Morocco. They expand more along the coastline. And they meet the Spanish. And they attack the Spanish. Now the Germans and the Spanish, they're full on at war with the Romans. But before we get to that, I want to see our... Oh my god, they still had shit left. Now the Germans, they've already found a religion. What the fuck are you talking? Okay, now they actually found Christianity. Christianity exists now. That's great. Now, finally, the Germans, they realize the threat of the Romans. So they're like, no, get the fuck out of here, and they take back what's rightfully Austria's territory. And they take it back, and they accidentally advance a little to Poland. But the Polish don't mind, because they understand the seriousness of the situation, so they advance. And then those French-German people, they advance here. And the Spanish, they also hate the Romans. But they adopt Christianity to be closer to their other German brethren. So the Chinese, they take over this island. They take over that island there. They take over that island, and then they expand further into Japan. Attack the people that created us, and they attack into the fucking colonial area of Korea. The Koreans, they're scared. Oh my god, no! It has to be done. So the Koreans, they really don't know what to do with the situation. So they're like, these people, they're like, we must get revenge. But the others are like, no, let's actually be chill. They probably did that on accident. And, like, this North and South Korea are created equally. And the North Koreans, what do? They split into West Korea. The North Koreans, they split into West Korea. And what does normal Korea do? They split into East Korea. About that. Oh, they will. They will take out West Korea because they don't like them, and they'll push out the Chinese. They'll actually leave them alive a bit because they really, but they really hate these Koreans for some reason. They really hate specifically the purple people, and they take over Taiwan. And they secure their location here a little bit. What does Japan do? Will Japan do something? They will found a new nation. We haven't had one of those in a while. Let's make, fucking, I don't know. So Persia, the Persian people, they actually just appear right here on the ocean, on the coast, and they're like, they slowly meet up with the people of Babylon. They expand further into their own actual territory. The Suez War continues as the Egyptians, they push further up the Suez, taking over like the entire fucking coastline here. But they obviously know it's not over yet, because the Babylonian capital is right there. So they actually go all the way around. Right, they go all the way around, and they take that part. They take the Babylonian capital, and the surrounding lands. They're pissed. They're really, really pissed at that. So instantly, they just retake their capital, and they push the Egyptians out because that was a stupid attack because they had barely any security. But it does really significantly weaken them. So the Babylonians, they just found the Persians, and they're like, okay, guys, if you help us, we will become part of your empire, because they can really need any help they can get. So the Babylonians and Persia, they unite into the Babylon-Persian Empire. Wonderful. The united forces of Persia, why can't I say Persia right now? Or am I saying it right? I don't think I am saying Persia properly. Anyways, together they fucking kick the Egyptians' asses. They take back the entirety of the Sinai, and they surround the Egyptian capital, and they cut them off from the fucking Suez, mostly, except for that part. And the Egyptians, they will react by splitting. So the last remaining part of them, that still controls part of the Suez, they really hate everything. So they call themselves the Suez Empire. The Suez Empire, it emerges from this as an own new nation. And they really do not like being a part of anyone. So they just take this and they push back against both people. They hate everyone. They want the Suez because it's their Suez. They named themselves after it. So they take over. I don't know if you could actually say it. They take over this entire fucking part of the peninsula. They take it all. And everyone's scared of this new nation. It turned in quite some time. And Poland splits. What can Poland split into? Wait, I know what Poland can split into, actually. Poland can split into Prussia. Because, oh, that's a very bad blue. Okay, so the Prussians actually, they just straight up take over most of Poland. They need a different color, though. I'm just gonna make them entirely black, I don't care. Union War, there we go. They kick out the fucking Danish people here, and they take over the entirety of Poland because they have been kept down for too long. Finally do something, or Wessex will finally do something new, and they will forever kick out the Danish. And to celebrate, the British, they colonize Iceland. Not the Danish, the British. They don't colonize all of it. Wessex, they colonize. No, they do colonize all of it, and then they go alongside Greenland. They don't really know that this exists yet. They just saw this island. They're just slowly island hopping towards America. I'm hoping that maybe we can do something. I don't really want to make the Incans because it wouldn't make sense. Or maybe it would, I don't know. Back to the big war in Europe. Austria. They also hate the Romans, so they cut them off by taking Slovenia. They essentially just cut the Roman forces in half. But they aren't capable of taking back any of their territory, actually. But the Germans are kind enough to give them back most of their parts of their territory. And then they also invade this part, so they're at least somewhat intimidating again. Okay, great expand. Okay, it didn't really have to be that, but okay. Oh, that is really a big expansion. Holy shit. So the Germans, they abuse the part that's fucking Rome has been split in half. And they take over the entirety of Hungary. Like, Hungary has fallen now. Hungary has collapsed. Mainly because the Hungarian people didn't properly support being part of Rome anyways. And then the fucking push continues from the French front. And they make a major push here. And then they close it up. And also they finally find themselves to take over Corsica and parts of Sardinia. And then they use that to island hop into Africa and take over Tunisia. So Rome is really struggling a lot, and they are also cut off Greece. So Rome is being absolutely destroyed out here right now. Spain splits. We can have Portugal. That's fine. Although Portugal doesn't really have any of its own territory, so we're gonna make them be like right here in the corner. And then the Portuguese are gonna have to take back their own territory. And they instantly unite with Spain again, making... Oh, wait, no! Portugal has just taken over the entirety of Spain. So we can just say that this was just symbolic for both people fighting in itself to finally unite. And they also finally make a major push against Rome, completely decimating Western Rome. And they take over the Balearics. And they help in taking over Sardinia, finally. So these guys are still aligned, and this is not Portugal. This is the Iberian Union. Yeah, I really want to focus on this war right now because it's heating up a lot. Okay, what does Rome do? Rome splits. No way. Greece has been cut off. So they're like, we want to have our independence. So Greece exists now. Here we go. The Greeks, they have finally found their freedom. And they are also enemies of the Romans now. So everyone hates Rome in Europe. This war's going crazy. Let's return to the Suez crisis, though. Okay, so the Babylonians, they take back all of Israel. They take Cyprus. And the parts of Turkey. They also finally finish taking over Turkey. And they push deeper into here just so they can have more defensive positions just in case that they do lose. And then they also try to take back the Sinai, but they fail. So the Suez Empire. The Suez Empire has managed to cripple Egypt a lot, to the point that Egypt is ready to unite with them. And like this, the Suez Empire has just taken over the entirety of Egypt because they have essentially, together with the Babylonians, entirely destroyed their economy. Does Japan finally do something? They expand. They're like, nah, we want to have our colony back, actually. So they take over North Korea, but not anything else. And then they actually decide to push up and colonize this part of Siberia, because nobody's actually living there. They can just expand quietly. They can just, they can just take a lot of land there because there's just nothing. Growing, they have no faith, they believe in nothing but expansion. So they just keep taking more and more and more of not Alaska, of Siberia. There we go, and now the Japanese are looking really scary. Really scary Japan, actually. China now. Of course, China splits again. Well, would they not? But they split into, what do they split into? They split into the fucking Uwu dynasty. I don't know. Like, god damn it, I don't know what I'm fucking doing anymore. So they split off in this part that has been mostly isolated, and then they expand further. These guys, they really like the Koreans, so they do a union with North Korea. And all of this is now uwu. This is so dumb. Christianity once again spreads, yeah. Great. Christianity is really doing well in this universe, just like in ours. So now, the British, they finally connect their territories here, and then they realize, wait, there's actually fucking land here? So they land in Canada. They establish the first colony in America. So America has finally been discovered. And they actually expand more. But for whatever reason, they don't take the coastline, which is very dumb. Rome. Rome does a large expand. They are not going to be defeated that easily. So they take back Tunisia in Africa. I don't know why that's their top priority, but they do it. And then they reconquer their territory here, at least some of it. And we're actually going to give Rome another term because they're at war with so many people. So they actually reconnect their territory here, and they march towards Greece, and they invade Greece, making them, again, another enemy. And then they also try to take the coastline, but it doesn't work. So now, the Austrians, what will they do? The Austrians will actually do a small expand. They will reconquer this part, once again splitting Roman forces in half, and they will actually take over all of this part of Rome. Wonderful. Now the Germans, what is the rest of Germany gonna do? They're also gonna just bully Rome even more. And they're gonna take over the city of Rome. So Rome is actually just collapsing in its entirety. They have pushed too far, and they're being destroyed by the entirety of Europe. Back for the Suez War, they go back at it with their attempts. They actually have good borders, so they're capable of properly pushing into Babylon and taking over the entire Suez. And they're actually happy with that, but they know that they need a good... They know they need to be able to protect themselves, so they just create more, longer borders. And with this, the fucking war finally ends because the Babylonians realize, okay, the Suez people are kind of chill. For now, we can't really do anything about it. We're just gonna let them be. Oh wait, I didn't do that on purpose, wait. And they also become Christian. So, they're just gonna keep expanding, and they're actually gonna go to Europe so that we can connect all the stories. So, they just colonize Bulgaria. Bulgaria is now part of the Babylonian Persian Empire. And they still don't like these mountains, but they still gotta go deeper. So, what will China do? They will actually take back Taiwan. And they will push back against the Uwu nation. But to only minor success. What will the Uwu nation do? Oh no, they get a grand expand. Oh, that's bad. That's not looking good for China. Yeah, China's being destroyed. The Uwu nation. Oh no, the Uwu nation. They take over. They take back Taiwan. And they just attack China like crazy. And they take over that random fucking island there. And they're destroying the Chinese army. They get a large encirclement and they crush the entire Japanese army. They killed China. The Uwu nation is now the strongest in Asia, aside from fucking Japan, because of course Japan is very powerful. Like, what the fuck have I done? What is this? But they also wish to connect their territory here a little more, so they actually invade Japan, so we got a new war here. And they do a union with East Korea to face the other great empire, because they are scared of the Uwu nation. What will the Uwu nation do next? They will expand again They will actually connect their territory, and they will take over the entirety of Korea. They will take over all of Korea, and they will invade the Japanese main island. So we've now set up another major conflict. That's beautiful. What does Rome do next, by the way? They split. I don't know what to split them into anymore, so usually I would be like, okay, but I don't know what to split them into anymore, so yeah. New leader, maybe, their leader was John, their leader is still John. Maybe, maybe John can do something about this mess. So first off, John, he reconquers Rome itself, then he mostly pushes out the enemies, and then he does another expand. Because he realized we need to be more aggressive, so he reconnects their territories, but just barely. They keep a major part of that, and they then invade Sicily. No, not Sicily, Sardinia, and then they push back into Tunisia. They free their army. They encircle the army of the Iberian Union, and they destroy it. And then they push them out further. Okay, so, if Greece actually takes back their peninsula, and they do want Constantinople. I don't know why, they just want it. So they actually invade Babylon, and they take over all of this. They take over all of this stuff. They take over Crete. They take over this part of the Babylonian Empire. So, but the Babylonians, they really don't like the Europeans now. Power. And they will use it to... Oh, what was that? They will use it to entirely destroy this flank. This part of the Roman Empire no longer exists. Rome is now utterly being destroyed. Rome is being flanked from all sides from too many enemies. Rome has no chance of actual victory, as Tunisia gets taken over again, and there's more encirclements and border gore, and they land in Sardinia and then invade them from the south. This is Prussia, this is the Teutonic Order. What's the Teutonic Order gonna do? They're gonna found a religion? What the fuck are they gonna found? They're gonna found Teutonism? I don't know. What was the Teutonic Order? I think they were Christian. Teutonism, I guess. No, we're bringing back militarism. Militarism is apparently a religion. Okay, so they're militarists now. Let's look at this new conflict over Constantinople. And finally, Babylon splits, and I can finally bring them into this world. They finally exist. It is time. The Ottoman Empire. They split off right up here. Those colors are way too similar, but it doesn't matter. They split off up here. They despise their founders for having kept them down for 157 years. So, they will now go ahead and reconquer all of the former Babylonian lands, and I'll actually give them another turn, just because they were just bored. And they do a medium expand. They really want to secure their own territory, so they actually sign a treaty. This is not war. They're like, hey, you took land from the Babylonians, but can you give us back what's technically ours? So they give them a little, but they keep Constantinople. And now the Ottoman Empire can focus on destroying their founders. So they begin the expansion, and then those guys, they actually don't like that. So they encircle this part, but then they accidentally invade the Suez people again. So, this starts the next fucking war here. And they do a union. The Suez people do a union with the Ottoman Empire. And they become the Ottoman Suez Empire. I want them to be a simple shade of red. There we go. So now the Ottoman Empire is back, more powerful than it ever was before. The original Ottoman Empire is gone. Large expand. They take back the south, and then they they ignore Africa for now. They push deep into the Gallic territory. They secure themselves here. They take back some of this, and then they relocate right here. And we'll actually give them another turn because they're completely outmatched. So now they can actually take care of the Africa situation a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. The Germans, they're still not happy with this. No, what would they even fucking split in? Actually, Hungary's back. They give independence to Hungary, but it's like a puppet state. It's like a puppet Hungary, but they're like very autonomous. They're like allowed to keep like all their culture and stuff. Oh my god, that's a horrible color actually. You know what? Fucking, we're just making them cyan again. There we go. So these guys, they're a German puppet. They are a German puppet. And now, after establishing this puppet, the German Empire will do another grand expand. However, they will actually not use this for that, because they actually want the Danish gone. They want the Danish gone, because they have been a thorn in their eye for Borregor, so they just invade Denmark and they destroy Denmark entirely. Denmark is just gone in an immediate, and they've barely used up any of their power. So then, the Germans just take back the Channel Islands, and then they generally push this back. They generally just push back Rome. I'm very sorry I've given them 2 turns. I will not give them a turn for this. No, actually, I'll just give Rome an extra turn. And they fucking split. So, finally, after all this time, the Romans and the Germans have come to a peace agreement. As the Holy Roman Empire is formed as a German puppet state. So the Holy Roman Empire, it's being created right up here. Right up here, they get everything. They even get Rome itself, and they get the islands and Libya. They get Libya. They get Libya. Let me give them Libya. Yeah, of course. First of all, they need to become Christian, and now after they've done that, they can finally gain what is theirs. Where am I? They get Libya. A whole mess of stuff. There's the German kingdom that is in charge of the Holy Roman Empire. So this nation essentially owns this nation and is allied to this nation, and this nation. They're all friends, and the German people, they're very powerful. And Christianity is just so far spread. So they finally decide to take... Oops. So they invade this part, and they take back most of their land. And then they're like, we need to connect this, so they connect it properly this time. And the Babylonians, obviously, they're not happy, so they try to just break through. They separate this, they take the Holy Land, and try to take the Sinai. They take back the Holy Land. They take it back. Then they push deep. They push along the rivers because that allows them to supply their people way more efficiently. And like that, they very quickly get to the Babylonian capital. And Babylon is about to fall. But we don't get to that. I actually want to do some more shit in Africa, with South Sudan specifically. So South Sudan, they expand. They want to get a coastline, and that's what they do. So they create this very ugly little part there. And yeah, that's what they do. Nation and Japan. And Japan, they first of all, new nation, new leader. Sorry, they get a large expand. They take back their main territory, and then after that, they obviously take over Korea again. So yeah, I oh my god, why am I so bad at drawing borders in this game? Oh, but the Uwu nation, they're too powerful. And in one fell swoop, they created a bomb which they drop on 2 major Japanese cities, and then boom, the Uwu nation is now the largest on Earth with 11,000 pixels. The Uwu nation has just taken over the entirety of fucking Japan. This is ridiculous. I literally did this as a joke, and now it's like the most powerful fucking nation on earth. Like, this is so dumb. Here, you know what? They take over the Philippines. Yeah, sure. They take over the Philippines. Yeah. Dude, the Uwu nation, it's too powerful. And then they take over fucking Indochina or something, I guess. Now, almost 20,000 pixels large. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Look at this. This is so ridiculous. This is so huge. Romans actually split. This was foreshadowing, by the way. The people of Rome and Libya, they finally founded themselves. And now that Rome is so incredibly weak, they can finally be free and just be Libya. And they're gonna be green. Libya's gonna be green. However, they don't get a lot of their desired territory. They actually this time take over the entire Roman Libyan territory, or they encircle it at least. They encircle their own territory, and they actually slowly begin to integrate it into them. And they're successful. So Libya is now its own thing. And the Romans are really not doing great. They've lost, like, all their empire. They started also as, like, one of the most powerful nations. Now they're just, like, this and this. Yeah. Okay, hear me out. The Ottomans just encircle the entire army. And the oldest nation on Earth has now died. The Arabian Peninsula is now entirely controlled by the Ottomans, who are now the second largest nation on Earth. So we have two very big nations. We have the Uwu dynasty and we have the Ottoman and Suez Empire. And what's going to be the fate of Europe? We're going to find out tomorrow, because I'm tired now and I'm going to end the recording. Alright, so we're back. It's a day later now. My dumbass forgot to save the damn game, so I had to recreate the borders. That in itself should not... Oh wait, I think I just loaded the wrong thing. There we go. This is where we stopped. This is where we had stopped last time. Uwu Nation. Draw a card. Medium expand. That's great. The fucking almighty Uwu Empire will get even larger. This is great. You know what? I'm gonna make him take all of the fucking islands here, like Malaysia and stuff. Okay, so now they're like on those islands. I don't really know how to continue. I feel like I want to continue the colonization journey of Wessex, because this is not England. This is Wessex. Although we could rename them to Great Britain. I won't do it just yet though. And they get a split into Canada. So now we have the first independent. So now this is the first actual nation in North Africa, America. Sorry, not Africa, America. What does Canada do now, you might ask? They do a medium expand. They want to take more of their coastline because they're independent, and they know that the Wessexian people. Okay, that sounds very weird. The Wessexian people. They are probably going to be recolonized by the British, so they gotta take defensive positions, so they mostly focus on just taking their coastline to become more defendable against all sorts of attacks, so yeah. Iberian Union, who are closely aligned with the Germans, and they split! They split. Okay, I actually have a good idea for this, because if you don't remember, I'm not sure how it happened in the video because this is an entire day later. If you don't remember, the Spanish were like conquered by the people, by the fucking, what are they called? By the Portuguese. And they've been living like as a second rate in the nation, despite literally being more people. And they've been like also advanced and sophisticated by their German brothers in the more east. Therefore, they want to be a little closer. So Spain finally calls for their independence from the horrible monster, and they take the Balearics and parts of their peninsula. The Germans, what will they do? They will also split. How is this possible? Okay, the Germans... okay, we bring back the Holy Roman Empire that they're supposed to have, so they get They get here this part. They get Tunisia, and they get the Roman part of the empire, you know, and the Italian peninsula. And that's all they get. But they're still a German puppet. So it's South Sudan. New nation. Okay, what are we gonna make? We could make. You know what? The Kievan Rus is gonna show up. If you don't know, those are the guys that Russia eventually came out of. Now we have a Russia, essentially. A very small Russia that I gotta change the color of because this is way too close to the ocean. Holy shit. I'm gonna make them like here, some nothing color. Now we got it. Okay, they look a little close to Poland, but I don't care. Because the Ottomans, they're scary. What do the Ottomans do, by the way? The Ottomans discover a new nation. That nation being, the Caliphate of... No, not the Caliphate. Was it a Caliphate? They discover Maratha. Or whatever the fuck you call that. However you say that, they discover this old Indian empire nation, essentially. Empire, they're still gonna be mostly, coastal, but they are gonna be here in India. I actually want to give them 2 turns to just give them more territory. And they adopt religion. See, like, what Rome does now that they're, like, entirely in shambles. Rome does a medium expand. They're not yet giving up. They're not ready to fight that just yet. But they decide to, attack Greece. They make a pact with the Ottomans to fight Greece together. And they're very careful to not take any of the German lands. They invade Greece from here, and they invade Crete. But also, they expand their colony in Africa downwards, because they're like trapped between these guys. And they essentially take a lot of land near Libya, because they want to prepare. They want to prepare to attack the Libyan people. What does Libya do in response? Libya also expands. Libya's like, okay, we gotta make sure that we're prepared. The Romans are clearly planning something. So they actually encircle those guys, but not actually in an aggressive manner yet. They're just kind of expanding into the desert, generally. I feel like that's enough. Now, even closer aligned. Now the Ottomans, they have a small split. Are you fucking serious? Okay, Persia. Persia has lived under the hegemony of the people, of the fucking Ottomans. After having served the Babylonians, now they had to serve them, and they don't want that, so they split off in their little peninsula here. And I will actually give them another turn to see them expand a little, because I want to see them take more of actual okay, that wasn't a lot. Oh, they did actually also attack them down here. At Iberian Union, they still have parts of Spain, so I'll continue to call them the Iberian Union. What does Spain do? Spain founds a religion. Are there any other variations of Christianity? I mean, I did call it Christianity. I didn't quite call it Catholicism. Okay, then we're just gonna call it Catholicism then. So there's now, wait, give me a second. There's now... So now there is 3 variations of Christianity. There's normal Christianity, which is the most spread version. There's Catholicism in Spain, and there's Protestantism in Poland. Civil War. The Iberian Union gets their turn, and they adopt the religion. The ideals of Catholicism have spread to a major part of the empire. Now, what does Spain do? I just want to do... See, come on, I just want to see literally anything happen. You know what? We're gonna make the Incans. The Inca Empire. They gotta be, like, green, right? They gotta be green. I'm gonna make them, like, the darkest green possible. Inca and we're gonna have them start off, obviously, at the very edge of their peninsula. Oh, this is a very dark green. This is darker than I thought. I genuinely can barely tell it apart from the rest of the terrain. But yeah, now we have the Inca. Gentlemen, Canada. They unite with, wait, the Canadians, they take over the British Empire. Oh, this is amazing. So the British have just been taken over by Canada. The Canadians, they were like pissed at the Wessexian people, and they take them over, forming the Canadian Empire. I really wish the names just like existed like this. You can see that I renamed it, but I renamed it to Canadian Empire. This is the Canadian Empire now. Canada takes more of Canada. now no longer scared because it's their empire. They take over more of their peninsula. And they kind of close off this shit, but they forgot that. Okay, whatever. Things happened. There we go. The Mauritian people, they finally finding themselves to expand more and make their empire bigger. Now, what does the Uwu nation do? I'm always scared when I click on this. Because this is a perfectly functional... Okay, it's not really a functional empire. Like, look at how large this bullshit is. I'm always scared of what might happen. Oh, thank God, just a new nation. You know what? This is the start of Madagascar, the Madagascar Empire. So the Madagascar Empire, they rise up in Madagascar. But they are very, very power-hungry people. So they land in Africa and they become the first proper I mean, okay, the north of Africa is being colonized quite a lot, actually. So the Ottomans, they actually take back the territory. They take Constantinople. And then they focus more on filling out the Arabian Peninsula. What do the Romans do? What is their response to the Greek invasion? They also largely expand more into Greece, and they actually accidentally attack the Germans. Or let's say they bought that land from the Germans. They apologized and then they bought the land for their invasion from the Germans. That's what they did. Totally. Okay, do we finally see anything happen in the Spanish Civil War? Dude, I just want this fucking fine. We're having Namibia, I don't know. Namibia exists now. Namibia, I don't care here. Dude, I'm running out of ideas. So, Namibia just shows up as, like, their own little empire in South Africa. This is the Namibian Empire. These are, like, the people that Germany won. Our empire do. They expand more along the coastline. And they take these islands and they get very close to the people of Sudan. And then they expand further down the peninsula. Or, finally, anything happens. So the Spanish, they push back against the Portuguese, and they finally take back all of their part of the peninsula. They actually also take a lot of Portugal, almost kicking them out, and then they begin to take over their colony of Morocco. So they begin to just take over most of Morocco, and now this part of Iberia is pretty much fucked to do this. Okay, the Germans, they are actually, like, through the Holy Roman Empire, they send someone to South America, and they found the German colony of Brazil. Because, of course, that makes sense. I don't know why you're questioning my logic. That's a complete that makes complete sense, right? That just makes it makes sense here. They land here, and now this is also German land. This is German now. This is German. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh my god, this makes no sense. Does the Iberian Union strike back? They try. They take back. Okay, I fucked that up. What do the Spanish do? They found no retconned. The Spanish, they're still pissed, so they kick out the Portuguese from the mainland and they reconnect that part there. The Romans are slowly also starting to feel better. What will the Germans do this time? Well, they actually get a turn. They will get a large expand. They decide to expand their empire more into the uncivilized Nordics. They also begin the process of integrating the Holy Roman Empire more into their nation. They will leave them alone as, like, essentially their own papal states to exist. And they carefully take these lands. But then they take over the colony. The colony is officially transferred to Germany. And they do buy some parts of Rome. So now the colony was split into. I'll give them another turn to fulfill that, to actually fill out that. So the colony is entirely given to the Germans, and they slowly begin to expand more into the north of Africa. Split. The Iberian Union splits into the German Algeria. The Germans actually help the Spanish, but they do demand a part of Algeria in exchange, which that is something that the Spanish are fine with, so they give a part of Algeria to the Germans right next to Tunisia. Okay, that's a very subtle color difference. So the Germans get a huge part of that, and then the Spanish, they found another religion. Oh my god, it's still not. The Germans, they help them out. The Germans, they unite with Spain. They're like, okay, we're all very similar, and this is now the. So the Germans and Spain, they've always liked each other. So this is now the Spanish Empire, but they're essentially just a German puppet. Next time I might just use a randomizer. Okay, the Canadians, they establish the 13 colonies. They establish the 13 colonies of they establish the 13 colonies. Yeah, that's what they do. Okay, they just slowly take all of this stuff and integrate it into their empire closely. So yeah, now the 13 colonies exist. Additionally, they want to grow their empire in Africa because they've seen, oh, Africa is a big deal. So they land in the west of Africa, and also they discover the people of Namibia, and they don't like them. But for now, they'll ignore them and just land down here and make a colony in South Africa, because they're essentially our Brits of this world. And also, they just declare war on Sudan because they're tired of them. They're tired. They want the horn. They want to fully oh, wait, I didn't mean that. And meanwhile, the Persians, they surrender. I am an idiot. I did all of that by accident, and I just made them very powerful. So, the people of Libya, they are threatened by this. So they push back. They invade the Ottomans because they're scared of them. So they push what once was the Roman Empire's territory, and they also push up to the Nile and a little beyond the Nile. They want the Nile to be like their new border, and they want to make like an alliance with the other African nations. They want to make an alliance with Sudan to keep the Ottomans away from them. So, yeah. Sudan to become allies, and the people of Sudan, they also declare war on the Ottoman Empire. And they push them further away, beyond the Nile, except for this tiny little part there. Meanwhile, the German adventurers, they got actually, the Kievan Rus, what do? They do another medium expand. They have heard the tales of a mighty empire, and they want to prepare because they're scared of future invasions. But also, they just want to really make themselves look more presentable on the world stage. So they do a couple of expansions. I'll actually give them several turns because Russia is just that big. So the Kievan Rus, they will slowly take more of Russia to make them look more presentable, more scary to the other empires. So they won't invade them, and they create two little colonies. What does the Finland do? Finland does a union. Retcon, I don't know what to unite them with. The Germans, they finally get a large expand, and they use it to expand their colony. They know of the danger of the Ottomans, but they don't invade them. They buy this part from the Ottomans. They buy this colony to the west of Libya from the Ottomans. In exchange for that, they have to help the Ottomans to attack the people of Libya. So that's what they do. Oh, wait. That was an accident. Can I, like... You know what? No. This makes sense, though, because earlier, they created the puppet empire of the Spanish. But they don't care about that. They finally annexed the Holy Roman Empire, again, into their borders. And they finally find it in themselves to expand more into the north. But also, they've heard tales from a faraway continent. So they sail there and they create their first colony in these islands. And mainly in Cuba. Cuba becomes their, like, base of operations. And they land right here. They land right here. In middle America, I'll call it. Because this is North America, obviously, I know. But I'll call it Middle America. For now, we'll call it Middle America. Meanwhile, the German colony of Brazil, which has been established by these guys, by the Germans, not the Spanish Germans. What do? They unite. Who the fuck could these people unite with? That's dumb. No, they're a colony. They can't unite. I don't know who to fucking unite them with. They get a great expand. They don't want to be They don't necessarily want to be a part of Germany anymore. So they expand more to please their German masters, but secretly they're planning to break away from the German Empire. And they will probably do that very soon, because they are expanding greatly. Let's get back to the big war of Asia, of the two empires. Maratha. They first of all have to take back Sri Lanka. And they succeed. And then they do a general push back against them. Against the Uwu nation. What does the Uwu nation do? Yes, finally! After their long rule of terror, the Uwu nation splits into the Philippines. No, into Indochina. Indochina does not want to be ruled by anime girls. They're like, nah, you can have that in fucking Japan, but we are not gonna do that. So, Indochina, just Indochina, they split off. They split off and finally shove a stick up that fucking ass of this way too large, unrealistic, dumb empire. And they take Thailand with them. So, yeah, Indochina is now a thing. There we go. We'll give them a turn and see whether they unite. So they realize their mistake and they rejoin the Uwu dynasty, and the Uwu dynasty just it looks like they've taken it over. No, they just realized they made a mistake. Right. So now they're united again, and they will now they'll expand. I should not have done this. I'm so stupid. Anyways, the fucking anime girl army just storms more into Maratha. But before they can do a proper invasion, they need to get more of the surrounding land. So they prepare their invasion carefully, with lots of strategy. And they just expand more. And essentially almost entirely cut off Maratha from the rest of the continent. And against the Sudanese people. So they expand. They expand into Libya a lot. And they take almost all of the coastline. And the Germans have promised them to help, so they will help. And they'll take the other half of the coastline. And like this, they expand with a medium expand. Invade Hungary. The Austrians, they just very, very quickly, they're invading Hungary, not just for the sake of it. And Poland. They're taking this part of Poland, and they're also fighting the Ottomans. And I gotta change the color because now they border Prussia. So we are keeping the color of Hungary somewhat, but it's still Austrian. Now we have the Austrian Empire. Now let's give 2 turns to Canada, because I feel like Canada's just a nation destined to grow. So, we will actually expand the 13 colonies a bit. I'm very surprised the 13 colonies have not yet declared their independence. It appears the Canadians are treating them a lot better than the Brits did in our timeline. So now we've got a very... Oh, that's dumb. Yeah, whatever. I said I was going to give them 2 turns. I'm going to give them 2 turns. So the Canadians, they're still a very big nation in this world. And they have a lot of presence in this world as well. After doing that, they also continue their Africa campaigns. And my cat just went behind the TV again. That's lovely. So they finally take over. They finally complete their journey in West Africa, because they're like, okay, this is a decently sizable colony. And then, now they attack the Madagascar Empire. And the Madagascar Empire is pissed. And they expand. They push the Canadians back to this river a bit. They do several pushes on the front lines. They take back their south, and they take back Sri Lanka. And then they slowly expand again. So, the Ottomans will now get another turn, and they will kick out the South Sudanese people from there. They will take over this island. They will take back the Horn, and they will heavily punish the people of Sudan by just taking so much of the Horn. The Ottomans are feeling very horny today. Okay, wait, that was okay, you know what? I'm gonna stick with that joke. There we go. They exist now. That's a thing now. And they rule the Horn of Africa. They are the Horn. They rule they rule all the Horn. That's yeah, yeah, sure. Something to push back the Ottomans here. And they push down the entire coastline because they like it wet. They like it wet. They don't like it dry. They don't like being dry. So they, oh my god, I really need to. Oh my god! Du kleines böses Katze. Du bist eine böse Katze. And the Madagascar Empire, they're also scared of them. They're also really scared of these Ottoman people. So they first unite with themselves, because I don't know what to fucking do with them if in a unity thing. So they also push back against them a little bit, but they have to focus on their war with Canada. So they push more into Canada. And Canada, who are now also very big, they split into... Oh wait, yeah, I waited for that. Now they've split into the 13 colonies of America. I didn't have to call them that specifically because we know what the 13 colonies are, but I don't care. And they... Oh, this might be the end for Maracha. This might be the end for them. This might be the end of the Indian people. Nope, not yet. The people of Maracha, they once again get to fight back. So they encircle a huge part of the army of the Uwu nation, allowing them to be a lot more combat efficient. And they unite with... Nobody's really close enough. What do the Ottomans do? They split again into Persia. Persia is back, ladies and gentlemen. No, actually, Rome is back. Rome has returned in their European mainland. Rome is back, ladies and gentlemen, and they've taken Greece with them. The Romans, they have taken all of Greece as well. They're taking a part of their shit there, and they're taking parts of Libya. They see the Roman return, and they use it to finally get a reason to take over the entire Italian boot, to help out their Ottoman allies. But they still don't like the Ottomans, so they still expand more into the Ottoman territory, getting a major foothold there. How will the Ottomans react? They've lost a lot of territory. They will push back against the Greek people, taking back most of their mainland. They take Constantinople. Then they push back against the Russians, although it's hard because they look very similar. But they do get a major push here, allowing them to encircle... They essentially encircle most of the army, and then they just push back the Russians. So Libya is back on the table now. Kind of. And the Ottomans, they seize the opportunity of Rome's weakness and Libya's weakness, and they take back Libya. Most of it. So the Spanish, they will now use their Panama Canal to begin to destroy the Inca Empire. So the Spanish, they invade the Inca. So this is the beginning of the war between the Inca and the Spanish. And the Inca, they split. No, they do not split. The Inca cannot split. I genuinely just want this to be like a little war here. There we go. So the Inca, they push back. They actually entirely push out the Spanish. And then they push further down here into that peninsula. But the Spanish, they're not done. The Spanish, they are not done. They are actually very set on fighting their little enemy people here. So the Spanish, they continue pushing into the Incans. They also actually connect their territory up here and become very powerful in doing so. Meanwhile, German Brazil, they just unite with, who could they fucking unite with? I keep trying to find a way to either put them into into the German Empire or just, like, kick them out. For now, I'll just, come on. Just revolt or some bullshit. No, they just, okay. My narrative is really being messed up here. So they actually continue their the Germans are way too powerful. I really want German Brazil to just split off into Brazil. That was like the entire purpose, because there was no Portugal left to make a Brazil. So I just gave the Germans Brazil, but now Brazil refuses to split off. They're too loyal to the Germans. Come on, just split. I don't want to keep giving... You know what? I'll close this down. Just fucking split off. God damn you, Brazil. You're really ruining my day. The Inca Empire. They do a union with nobody because there's nobody who can help them. Actually, they do a union with the Namibian Freedom people. For no reason. Okay, now they finally push back against the Spanish. Well, that was nothing. And the Spanish, they put... Oh, this is the end for the Inca. This is the end for the Inca. At least right here in America. So the Inca, they still exist. In this universe, the Inca have never died. The Inca continue to live with the Namibians right here in Africa. Yeah, what do the horny Ottomans do? They split into the Virgin Ottomans. And they are in the middle because they are not very horn-oriented people. And there's actually a lot of virgins in the horny Ottoman Empire. The Kingdom of Germany, they will expand further into Rome. They will actually cut this part of Rome to help of their Ottoman friends. They will kick out these people from there because they don't like them. Who was that again? I think that was Greece. And then they expand their colony further into Africa. They don't approve of that, so the Canadians, they finally decide to attack the Americans with a big attack, with a very big, large offensive right here. They really do not like the Americans at all. They continue to push and push and push. And the Americans, they push back, but they have way less people on their side than the mighty, large empire of Canada, so it's not going too well. But they take back Sri Lanka, and then they once again do a generalized push across the front line. And the Uwu Nation attacks once again, doing a very deep push, taking most of their flank here, taking over all of Sri Lanka, and then connecting with this territory. So, yeah, back against the Russians because they're pissed at them. So they take over this entire part. They take over Crimea. They invade Greece. They close down the borders here. They invade further into Greece, and then they take over all of this. And now the Turks entirely control the Black Sea. What? Why is it so laggy? They attack into the German Balkans, taking them over, and this pisses off the Germans. And now they're also at war with Greece, and they take over Sparta, and they take back their parts of the Balkans. Ireland is a large expand. They take Scotland with them out of the fucking Canadian Empire. And the Canadians really don't care because Scotland's just a very, very minor province to them, the Americans. So they attack the Americans and they try to take all of their coastline and they cut them off of Florida and they take these random islands because they can't resist it because they got that British syndrome. And then they finally finish taking over Florida. And they isolate America from the ocean. The Canadians just entirely encircled all of the 13 colonies. And the 13 colonies split into the Confederate colonies. So now there's already an American Civil War. This is crazy, guys. This is so realistic. This is so crazy. This is such an insane alternate timeline. And the Confederate people, they're like people who are supportive of rejoining the Canadians. So yeah, this looks horrible, but I mean it's a civil war, so obviously the borders aren't like entirely clean. Will Brazil finally break away from the Germans? No, they will not. They get a fucking great expand. Are you kidding me? Dude, what the fuck? Dude, Germany does not seem that powerful until you look at fucking South Africa. Dude, what the fuck is this? The entirety of Brazil, who is a German puppet. I literally did that as a joke, just so that we could have a Brazil, and I hope there would be like a big independent Brazilian empire. But no, there's just a big German Brazilian puppet. March further into Greece. Because they really do not like Greece. And then they continue in the fucking Scandinavian area. What do the Ottomans do? They do a large expand. Yep, that's the end for Greece. Greece is over now. This is the end of Greece. They sign a treaty with the Germans to get most of Greece aside from Sparta because the Germans want to keep Sparta. Greece is gone now entirely. And the Ottomans, they also expand more into what is this region called? The Caucasus Mountains? I think in Germany we call this thing the Caucasus. And then we'll give Germany another turn just to... Oh, they do a union. Now there are three options. I could unite them with Prussia, I could unite them with the Spanish, or I could unite them with the fucking Brazilians. I still kind of want the Brazilians to split off, so I'll just unite the Germans with the Spanish because finally the Spanish have decided, you know what? Germany, something fell down my table. Germany, we've been friends for literally this entire history. We've been very close. You've always helped me out. So they unite with Spain. The Germans, they unite with Spain. This is now the Spano-German Empire. For the narrative. So they take out all those revolutionary people. And then they cut off the Canadian army right here. So things are slowly starting to look better for them. Will the fucking German thing finally split? No, they will not. They will not. Why will you not split? I just want there to be a fucking Brazil. Please stop it. I never thought I'd say that, but the German people are too powerful. I mean, I am German. I obviously want Germany to be powerful, but this is just... People... No, now they get a great expand. People are gonna think that I'm like a fucking Nazi because of this video, because Germany is just unstoppable. But I swear, guys, it's not me. It's not me, guys. This is just... The game is making me do this. I'm not biased, I swear. I swear I'm not biased. Please, bitte glaubt mir, please. I'm fucking losing my mind. They get enough. No, I don't want to say. They unite with the Prussians. They unite with the Prussians because they're essentially like the same people or some bullshit. There we go. This is the... Okay, these borders are very Nazi. I did not notice that until now. Fuck. This is what I've made my holidays into. The Virgin Ottomans, oh wait, they do a... Wait. No! The Virgin Ottomans, they have... No, wait. No fucking way, I just... I should not have given them... Okay. So the Virgin Ottomans just took over all of the entirety of the Ottoman Empire. Oh god, and like, so much of the earth is now... Also, the fucking Uwu nation is unstoppable. Wait, why can they expand so much? I never asked myself why they get to expand that much. This is... Oh wait, this is a large expand. Why do they only get large expands? This is weird. Okay. So they begin their colonization of Australia, turning it into Uwu-Australia, like, going on. Oh, they reunite. Okay. So, the Americans were defeated in their Civil War and they never got their independence. Now Britain is once again one of the largest nations. Are they actually larger? They are slightly larger than the Ottoman Empire. And the Virgin Ottomans, the Virgin Ottomans, they are not fine with that. So they split into the horny Ottomans again. They're back. Please. Oh my fucking god. You know, just go. Just, what is this? Dude, why is Brazil refusing to split? They might genuinely be, okay, they aren't the largest nation. Just split! Just for fuck's sake, split. They get another great expand, by the way. Can we just talk about that? Instead of giving me splits like I want. I originally just made a German-Brazilian puppet so that we could have a Brazilian empire show. No, we just have a gigantic German puppet that keeps expanding infinitely. Like, what is this? What is this? None of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. No. I just want them to unite, please. No. Okay, there we go. So now the Germans are truly the masters of this world. Controlling almost 60,000 pixels. Controlling almost all of Europe. Actually, the Germanic people. Because there's Austria as well. All of Europe is German, and most of Africa is German, and the entirety of South America is German. What have I done? What have I fucking done? God. God is gonna punish me for this. But I would say that is enough for today. We've seen nations fall, we've seen nations rise, we've seen shit just go completely out of hand, and I'm done.